I'd like to call the Bloomingdale Board of Education meeting to order at 7 o'clock. I'll read the Open Meetings Act. In accordance with requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, public notice of this meeting has been sent to Mr. Ledger, Mr. Trent, all board members of district schools, Bloomingdale Borough Hall Clerk of the Borough of Bloomingdale, and posted online at the district website. Copies of the agenda are also available in paper from this evening. This time, I'd like to do the flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That she's excused. So is this impact.
Echo here, Mrs. Hussein here, Mrs. Marcus
Here.
Mr. Olenschlager.
Present.
Mrs. Spencer here, Mrs. Wilson here, Mr. Caramel.
Here. This time, I'd like to get a motion to move the regular session. Executive session. Can we move the motion by voice? All those in favor saying yes?
We'll read.
Oh, yeah, I'll read it. Okay.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits a public body to meet in closed session to discuss certain matters. Whereas the said law requires the board to adopt a resolution for public meeting before it can be such an executive. Resolved that the Bloomingdale Board of Education has determined that it is necessary to meet in closed session on June 28, 2022 at 7:02 p.m. to discuss presentation of the superintendent evaluation. To further resolve that the Bloomingdale Board of Education reserves the right to discuss other matters. And to further resolve that the minutes of this closed session be made public underneath or to confidentiality of the board. Action may or may not be taken following the return to the closed session.
Okay, this can move by voice vote. Everybody saying yes? All in favor? Aye.
We're going to do that in 5 minutes. We can hold this. Ready to go, right?
This time, I'd like to get a motion to approve of minutes. Moved by Lauren, second. Second by Alexis. Comments or changes to the minutes?
There's one amendment, something in the final version, which is left off at the end of it. Just need to was omitted and put back, we'll put back.
I'll propose language. First of all, with regard to item 14.1, that first policy, the action taken on policy 155 board committees. Minutes should reflect the board approved this policy on first reading on motion by Mrs. Greco, seconded by Mrs. Marcus, with all in favor. So item 15, for the second public comment, the minutes were reflected. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Katarzyna Wisner, 145 Ratcliffe Road, spoke concerning helping and meeting students to deal with classroom outbursts and having teaching methods more clearly explained to parents. Item 16 on adjournment, motion adjournment was made by Mrs. Greco, seconded by Mrs. Marcus. Welcome amendments.
Just committee amendment.
Yeah.
You're gonna give that.
I'm going to get it right through. You deal with it as a friend.
Any other comments or corrections to minutes? Hearing none, Ms. Lawson, would you do a roll call, please?
Mrs. Greco? Yes. Mrs. Hussein? Yes. Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to read the president's report. This is very special month. Myself, many board members attended the 2022 Walter T. Bergen graduation. I want to thank Mr. Deeb, Dr. Garcia, Mr. DeLuca, Ms. Lehman, Mrs. Saltzman, and all district staff that really contributed to a really successful graduation ceremony. On June 27th, I attended the monthly senior citizens meeting. They provided very favorable comments about the music provided by the Walter T. Bergen Band on June 14th. And they're hopeful we can resume the 2 concerts per year shortly, the holiday and the year-end concert. Separately, I attended a session with Senator Vin Gopal and offered a suggestion regarding CUSAC. On June 10th, I attended the annual Public Relations 2022 training seminar, in which the sessions included crisis communication, a primer for school officials. Do we have a plan? Waiting for a crisis to happen without a plan. How to become more effective in your leadership role. Words matter. What to say is in a specific situation. Effectively communicating curriculum decisions, a panel discussion. And that completes my president's report. I'll email you a copy. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Caraballo. As part of my superintendent's report this evening, I do plan to present the proposed district goals for the 22-23 school year. Before I do, I want to again echo Mr. Caraballo, say congratulations to our 8th graders who are now moving on to be freshmen in high school. We certainly miss them in the Bloomingdale community, and kudos to Mr. Deeb and Mr. DeLuca and our entire teaching staff here at Walter T. Bergen for a successful year, and also for across the entire district, a successful school year, and what was not easy by any means. So I do congratulate our teaching staff. The summer will go very quick. We're currently doing quite a bit of work within the district with a plan for another successful opening in September. So I think as we look towards September and move into the new fiscal school year starting on July 1, really I'd like to present district goals. When I sat here about a year ago, approximately, and presented the first set of district goals, a lot of them were broad. A lot of them dealt with district operations. And one of them in particular was to conduct the strategic planning process. And we were successful in conducting that process. And it really allowed myself and the district to set 4 major goals and 4 major areas of focus that we're going to look at over the next 5 years. And so for the next 5 set of strategic goals, the next 5 sets of district goals I present, they will all be directly in line with the strategic plan that we produced as a district. So quickly going through these, and we're not going to read off the paper because everyone has it in front of you and the board has had a chance to review it for a short time now. Really under strategic goal 1, which is academic excellence, in educating the whole child. We plan to undertake the following items during the 22-23 school year. We plan to continue our district curriculum renewal plan this upcoming year, focusing on the area of language arts and literacy. This past year, we focused on mathematics. That brings me to the second point of we plan to support the new mathematics curriculum that we are implementing kindergarten through 8th grade in September. We have trained on it this past spring, and we do plan to fully implement it in September and support it throughout the school year. We'll be going into year 2 of our new middle school schedule model with a focus on social emotional learning. We continue to support it as we implement the model year 2. Again, really this upcoming year, focusing on social emotional learning, using that advisory time and the homeroom time in the morning, really to focus on your SEL components. We do plan now that we'll be in the second year to prepare for the third year in the future, or hopefully I'm sitting before you a year from now talking about expanded elective choice offerings at Walter T. Bergen. Knowing 2 years ago as we went into a year ago and then 2 years ago in the future, when we go into this model where we wanted to expand student choice, we want to offer electives that are not just this is what you get, but rather giving student choice. We're piloting this year in 8th grade an option like that with our elective courses, and we plan to use that pilot program to understudy to see what more we could offer students at the middle school level. At the same time, we want to look at our elective offerings in the elementary level with really putting the idea of student exploration, studying exploration itself, and then also maintaining core instructional minutes and making sure our students are receiving your core academics, your math, language arts, science, social studies, appropriate instructional minutes throughout. We really want to look at the gifted and talented program. We are set up for success to implement a new gifted and talented program at the elementary level, similar to what we did this past year at the middle school level, with really a focus on STEM and a focus on arts as well. at the gifted and talented level, with being a pull-out approach that we plan to roll out in the fall. And really, in terms of academic excellence, we want to, again, recognizing that we are still coming off the second school year impacted by COVID-19, really focusing on how students are doing, making sure we have appropriate measures to assess how students are doing. And then for those students that are struggling, and whether that be academics or from a social emotional lens, making sure they have the individualized academic support and programming that they need. So that's under strategic goal 1, the actions myself, the administrative team, and it extends down to our entire professional staff plan to take this upcoming school year. For the second one, in terms of facilities, what we plan to do is undertake the following professional tasks. And this is really divided into true facility work and then security work as well. We plan to implement what's called the standard response protocol for standardized security between all 3 of our locations. We plan to work with the Bloomingdale Police Department to simulate full-scale drills at each location. That means going beyond your standard, this is a lockdown, this is a fire drill, but going, unfortunately, from beginning to end, assessing, if we need to lock down, if we need to do a full-scale evacuation, what reunification would look like for our families. Again, working with the police department, seeing if we could do that do a full-scale simulation at each location of our building, because obviously the needs of our preschool program are very different than the needs of our 8th graders. We plan to investigate and, if approved, enhance security at our 3 locations. We plan to, and then that turns to our facilities, successfully convert Martha B. Day back to a fully operational school. What I mean by that is, in the past, prior to our preschool program expanding, the building was half used. The building had classrooms on your top floor. On the lower floor was really offices and small group instructional space. Really, at next year, every single classroom will convert back to a classroom and have students in it for instruction, which we're very excited about. That building continuing to expand. Actually, I will say every room in the district, now every classroom will be used as a traditional classroom, which wasn't always the case, say 5 years ago or even last fall. So that is a goal we plan to successfully convert that back at Martha B. Day. And then we do plan to begin in the early stages of referendum planning, looking at our facilities themselves. For members of the board, I did send out, and I'm hosting, and everyone's welcome, I'll send information to you. I'm hosting during the month of July 3 facility planning sessions, really to get public input from the public and all of our stakeholders on, what is their viewpoint on our facilities. I sent that to all our pre-K through 7th grade families today. And obviously anyone is posted on social media, anyone on the board, I'll send you the information as well. There'll be 3 Wednesdays at varying times, 1 in the morning you can come to, 1 in the evening, and then 1 via Zoom a little bit later in the evening for those that have kids that have an earlier bedtime. So we're giving a variety of options really for the public to provide input to myself, which in turn I will turn key to the board as we kind of begin the initial stages of the referendum planning process to make sure, like the goal states, that our facilities are modern, safe, efficient, and foster student learning and creativity. In terms of the third goal is really communications and community involvement, really to continue building on that foundation that we've established this year. We really want to take this by expanding our comprehensive wraparound program for our families. When I say wraparound, I really mean, I really firmly believe that education just isn't meant for our students. We need to have family buy-in, we need to have family support. So looking at being creative and offering night programs, expanding on what we did this year. This year, I offered some programs for, back and forth with the superintendent and dialogues. Our special education parent advisory group used their sessions for professional development. We really want to expand on that. Expand on, offering assistance for families in, about mathematics programming, science programming, social studies programming, language arts, ways to support academics at home. So really to kind of ways to support social emotional concerns at home. So expanding our wraparound program and support for families. And then within the district, a focus on expanding student voice. As you recall, we had our 8th graders here prior to their graduation, really giving student voice and sharing to the Board of Education. So really expanding on that with the first steps we took this year at Walter T. And then at Samuel O'Donnell and Martha B. Day, looking at how we could begin that expansion that we started at the middle school last year. And then the fourth goal in terms of technology, also making sure we have state-of-the-art technology facilities and really items that support teachers and students in learning. So we do plan to complete interactive display upgrades district-wide. If you were to walk in any of our classrooms right now, they look quite old because they no longer have any type of technology in them, because the day after students left, we started gutting down our classrooms. We removed the displays, we removed the old computers, because we've already ordered new devices for staff. We ordered new technology equipment for the classrooms. So every classroom will be uniform and well-equipped coming in September, coming in with state-of-the-art technology. And then we do plan on funding our in-service days, where we put our teachers to be serving as leaders, and our teachers train other teachers on best practices in education. We rolled that out this year for the first time in Bloomingdale. Tremendous feedback from staff, and it was definitely a successful few in-service days that we had, we do plan to build on that as we move forward in the future as a goal for next school year. At this point, members of the board, I'll certainly take any questions, and any members of the public are welcome during the first public comment, because it is on the agenda for approval, to ask any questions. Sure.
About the facility.
Sure.
About the facility meetings,
Mhm.
are they going to be in every one? Are you going to cover the exact same thing? Is it more just and the point is to gather as much feedback as possible?
Exactly. I imagine each one will take on a different life of its own based on people that come, based on the feedback and discussions that happen. But I do plan for my portion, my presentation to be the same in each one, really just giving different choice options for families. Thank you. That concludes my report this evening, and I do have presented to the board tonight the regular agenda and the addendum as well, with a few other add-on items that was also publicly available in the back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to continue with a motion, first public comment, agenda items only. Moved, second by Nadia. And this be moved by voice, please. All in favor? All right. At this time, we're taking public comments. If somebody has a public comment, agenda items, Lauren and Harry. Anybody wish to come up, make public comments on the agenda items only? No? Seeing no public comments, move to close. Lauren moved it. Second? Second by Nadia. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we can move on to committee reports. Personnel committee.
Personnel Policy and Community Relations Committee met on June 6th. Committee endorsed the superintendent's recommendation that the board should introduce P3161 and R4161 of examination clause first reading, and authorize the district's application for the NJ-BOE merger grant study program. Superintendent updated the committee on the district's hiring efforts and transportation issues, including the anticipated rebidding of the district's busing contracts for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you very much. Curriculum instruction technology.
The curriculum meeting this time around was canceled. There wasn't a lot of content to go about, so yeah, you have it.
Okay, thank you. Fortunately, my means out sick tonight, so we'll pass on the finance facilities. Notice for communication diversity.
We do not have it here.
Okay. All right, then let me proceed then to section 7, superintendent's bulletin, general administration. Mr. Armstrong, can you move sections as appropriate? 7.2, I believe 7.22.
I will offer, I'll make a motion for adopt resolution 7.2 through 7.22 inclusive. As part of that, I think I'm understanding the amendment correctly. Resolution 7.8 has to be read into the record.
Yes.
So as part of the motion, for the record, resolution 7.8, which is entitled submission of the school district regionalization study grant. That resolution will read as follows. Whereas the Department of Community Affairs, DCA, is dedicated to helping New Jersey school districts achieve educational excellence and district efficiencies. And whereas the School Regionalization Efficiency Program, SREP, grant supports public school districts and governing bodies across New Jersey who wish to study the feasibility of school district regionalization consolidation. And whereas school districts and governing bodies are invited to apply for funding to offset costs associated with conducting feasibility studies that support the creation of meaningful and implementable plans to form or expand regional school districts. And whereas the Department of Community Affairs Division of Local Government Services, BLES, is tasked with administering these grant funds through the School Regionalization Efficiency Program, SREP. And whereas Bloomingdale Public Schools seek to evaluate whether they may be able to attain improved educational quality and efficiencies through consolidation or regionalization. And whereas a formal study must be undertaken to accomplish this objective with regional implementation plan development. And now therefore be it resolved by the Bloomingdale Board of Education that it approve applying for an SREP grant to financially support undertaking the study to determine if regionalization would be in the best interests of Bloomingdale residents. That is my motion.
For a second,
Second.
any questions or comments on 7.2 to 7.22?
If I could have one, Mr. Carvalho, because I did receive an email from a member of the public today asking for clarification on this. What this motion really is the district is applying for a grant to look at just feasibility and seeing, to simply put, if it makes sense at this time. It does not mean the district is merging with another district or anything like that. It's really just looking at feasibility if it truly makes sense at this point.
Thank the superintendent for shepherding the grant application through this. As you may recall, was legislation the board endorsed earlier this year, and that was making application for this grant program.
I'd like to make a comment on 7.6. I really do appreciate the Butler School Board Education Association with their donation of $38,000 to create a thing center in Bergen. I want to thank all the support that Dr. DeCia has done towards that. And also, obviously, I think we should recognize Mr. Joe Howley, and obviously, I think Mr. Mark Nickens for shepherding us through that. Those are my comments on 7.2.
Mr. President, there's one clarification that I'd like to make on the record with regard to my motion. With respect to resolution 7.5 dealing with the second reading on policies, you'll note that policy 155 on board committees was referenced as one of the file attachments, but it was inadvertently omitted from the be it resolved clause. So the record should reflect that this is
It's on the amendment. It's on the amendment.
It is, yes.
Great. Okay.
Right. On the,
So it's clear.
Yeah.
E 155 is.
it's part of tonight's, yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Mr. Howley was the benefactor to donating the money to the Butler Education Association. The Butler Education Association has amended their bylaws to now include Butler and Bloomingdale to really serve both of our communities. And they decided to make the donation to us to build a think center, as they've done a year and a half ago. They made a donation to Butler Public Schools to build a think center there. So now both districts will have in their middle schools the near identical think center to prepare students for the new robotics lab that the Butler Education Foundation is opening at the high school in the fall as well.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? No? Seeing none. All right, we have a roll call.
Mrs. Yes. Mrs. Hussein. Yes. Mrs. Marcus.
Yes.
Mr. Oldenslinger.
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer. Yes. Mrs. Wilson. Yes. Mr. Carvalho.
Yes. This time we can move on to the human resources. Mr. Olenschlager, can you move to 8.2 to 8.28?
I will offer a motion to the board to adopt resolutions 8.2 through 8.28 inclusive, with particular pride the board as to resolution 8.2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Correct. Any questions or comments? Those items.
I just felt that to the extent that there's a personal matter that was not specifically discussed in committee, personnel committee raised jurisdiction, so.
No questions or comments?
I just wanted to just,
commend Dr. Lucia on his work this year. First full year, we adjusted to getting back on the path for a full year. Just really, it's been an honor working alongside you in the first full year. So just wanted to just uplift that again. It's very much worth it.
Thank you.
And I would just offer that congratulations to our new Marquis Day principal. It was a pleasure and an honor to sit on the search committee. And it's a well-deserved appointment that you're with us tonight. You're just what we needed. So thank you.
Comments? Hearing none, you have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Greco?
Yes.
Mrs. Hussein? Yes. Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes.
Mrs. Santana? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson? Yes. And Mrs. Carroll?
Yes. Mr. Zhang, can you move the academic programming 9.2 to 9.6? Is there a second? Ms. Greco? Any questions or comments on 9.2 to 9.6? Hearing none, we have a roll call, please.
Mrs. Greco?
Yes.
Mrs. Hussein? Yes. Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson? Yes. Mr. Carroll?
Yes. Mr. Zhang?
Abstaining on 6. Will work.
Oh, yeah, because you're,
Staying on that. Mr. Zhang, can you move the student services 10.2 to 10.5?
And move 10.2, 10.5.
For a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on 10.2 to 10.5? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Greco?
Yes.
Mrs. Hussein? Yes. Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes.
Mrs. Santana? Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson? Yes. Mr. Carroll?
Yes. Finance. Ms. Greco, can you move section, please?
I'd like to move motion 11.2 with regard to payment of bills as written.
For a second?
Just 11.2.
here you go.
We'll move that one first, and we'll move the other one separate. Any questions or comments on that motion? No? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Greco?
Yes.
Mrs. Hussein?
Yes.
Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson? Yes. Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
And then I'd like to move motion 11.3 through 11.24.
Any questions or comments on 11.3 to 11.24? My comment is I'm really impressed that both Ms. Alonso and Dr. Garcia, that we're able to potentially not to see $2 million going to our capital reserve. I really think that is well deserved of their hard work, and it gives us good reason to look forward. This district to start making some capital, long needed capital improvements. Any other questions or comments? 11.2 to 11.24, sorry, 3 to 1.4. No, can we have roll call, please?
Mrs. Greco?
Yes.
Mrs. Hussein?
Yes.
Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Olenschlager?
Yes on resolutions 11.3 through 11.20. Staying on 11.21 to 11.24.
Mrs. Spencer? Yes. Mrs. Wilson? Yes. Mr. Carvalho?
Yes. This time I'd like to move into liaison reports. Ravi's not here for public board. Anything from the drug alliance? Mayor council? We have
No, nothing this
no
time.
report, from our council. New Jersey school boards,
The workshop is going to be October 3rd to the 26th and over registration. So,
I plan on attending, so I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on attending, do recommend it. State County School Board, any comment?
No,
Okay. Planning Board,
nothing medical process.
PTA,
I wasn't able to attend conference last meeting, but PTA had some really exciting and fun kind of closing events for the school year, including opportunity to see a graciously advancing at high in the face, Mr. D, alongside Mr. D. And also Walkie Day providing money for pizza for events, school year events. And, you know, they just, they've been very successful fundraising this year, as can be seen with the contribution to the playground. So just wonderful to see PJ is getting so much energy. And they have, you know, they're just going to be continuing doing a lot of events. They have a great year, and they're looking forward to doing more so next year.
I agree. I mean, I do attend a few of the PTA meetings virtually, but the energy that's there and the excitement that's there, we need to maybe as a board figure out how to recognize the good work that they're doing. So I'd like to offer that suggestion that, you know, maybe invite them to one of our meetings and kind of say a thank you. So please. Recreation?
Friday is coming up in September, and there's not another meeting until September.
Okay. I already gave my report, seniors. Okay, now move on to old business. For old business, I did email all board members some proposed board goals. Those board goals were complete for assessment. We want to change assessment form or process. Any feedback or comment on that? Okay, everybody's satisfied with the process. We'll make sure everybody's satisfied with the board assessment process. Okay. I'd like to encourage people to attend training. Do we want to give ourselves any kind of training goals?
Well, aren't they required by law according to what you're doing?
So you have those are the mandatory training goals. I don't know if anybody's interested in exceeding the mandatory training goals. I just offer that up to see if people are interested in attending training. Number 3, I said, does the board want to do another retreat? What's on that?
In what time frame?
Probably in the latter fall, you know, maybe
When
say
did we have the last one? It's not
March.
March, September, September, October. That'd be annual. I'm so maybe we could do a little bit sooner than. You know. Any thoughts? Want to do it next March or sooner?
It was productive, but I don't know how productive it can be if you do it.
So I'm looking for feedback. People want to continue the dialogue. You don't see the dialogue other than this event right here. This is our entire dialogue. How can we generate more dialogue? I thought the retreats were good for us creating dialogue and hopefully building bridges with each other.
I mean, I think that, you know, there's been a lot of discussion this summer, there's a lot happening. So it might be a good opportunity to just kind of touch base with each other and either late fall, it doesn't have to be maybe September, just maybe like in October and see if that's fruitful. You know, I think we value all of our time commitments that are volunteering time we give to the board and the school district. But I think it might be worth just trying, and if it seems like.
All right, so we'll do this. Come September, I'll revisit the question And if people are still interested or not interested, then we can make arrangements with Kathy, or we can try to do it just on our own without Kathy.
Let's think of some.
Let's get through September back to school.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, I was gonna say we should generate some topics, if there are topics that we want. to explore.
well, then we do that with summer.
Yeah.
Round
Just-
robin idea.
or Something, I mean, I don't know what, just to have a retreat to get together is nice, but go out to dinner too, you know, so.
Oh, that's an option for the board too. Other boards do that. If this board wants to do a dinner somewhere, we can have a dinner somewhere. Just need to make the arrangements to let people know that's what we're doing, that we're gonna have casual conversation, whatever keeps us out of the ethics violation.
No, but if we have something to actually talk about, if we can come up with an agenda that everyone kind of agrees with, then it would be worthwhile.
I mean, to the point you made, I mean, we could collect topics over the summer. We've got tree planning coming up. We have maybe other communications issues coming up. We can gather those topics and
And then
discuss that more.
if we come up with a meeting agenda, then it would be worthwhile.
Okay, that works.
If you'd like, that's something I could facilitate.
Right?
I could facilitate collecting information.
So, excellent. So the fourth item I wanted to bring up, I like this board, I'm recommending every quarter, we discuss at least a goal, a strategic goal. I mean, right now, I put in this particular proposal for this go around. Facilities, which I think to be a current topic for security. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that, or any thoughts on security? I mean, we've got a good recommendation.
Be scared, but
We had a good recommendation, Dr. Garcia. I mean, I like to support his enhancements that he's putting going forward. I like this board to kind of be aware of them and continue to support him and talk about them.
Question about that would be, with an all-in drill and then, I know there's some parents, especially with younger, if they're a younger district, just the fear factor, like, how are we going to address, you know, the need to necessarily, you know, run a full-scale drill without crossing over that line where it becomes something too traumatic for them.
So that I think it's done with a lot of planning. So it's a lot of planning, taking input from parents, taking input from our administrative team, the police department, seeing, you know, how exactly right. How do we do this without causing too much trauma, too much harm, but also knowing that we need to make sure that our plan is sound if that's ever were to take place. I think it's done with a lot of pre-planning ahead of time. To be honest, I don't see this being something that's really done, especially at our younger grades until like late winter, the spring. Really, it's kind of make sure we're building up to that planning, preparing. Also, in the end, of making sure parents are well informed so they can start those conversations with their children ahead of time. This isn't something that will ever be a surprise. This will be well put out and planned.
and in preparation, I don't know where we are as far as we work with the police about doors and what locks them inside, what locks them outside, how you communicate, all the things that fail that you follow.
So I'm always very careful when I answer that question because the answer is yes, we do all that. I don't like to expand past that because that's all within our security protocol of how the
Right.
police function,
Right.
how we function.
But you are on top of.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I met with the chief of police last week. I spoke to him for about an hour today. I have a meeting with him next week. So we meet very, very frequently. Chief Burrell and I speak pretty much almost every other day. So we do communicate quite a bit. We are.
I mean, that's what we need assured,
Yes.
that all of those systems, as I say, that failed in other situations. We have learned from them. and
Yes.
They're consistent throughout all the buildings.
Yes, they are consistent. We are using the summer to review our security protocol, make certain adjustments, and really work with the Bloomingdale Police Department to make sure they're comfortable.
And there's training for the staff.
There's training for the staff. Yes, we're putting a whole new security protocol in place come the fall that really brings consistency through all three of our buildings. And I can say too, the police are also trained. We've given them full access to our facilities to conduct training exercises as well. They've been doing it.
That's the assurance I don't want to tell everybody about.
Yeah.
And I just know with the drills, I don't think that's been, we've been having drills in our district. I know that in other districts, maybe in other states, sometimes it has been always clear that it's a drill. And that's unfortunately panic and trauma. And again, I'm not saying that ever happened here, but just similar to, I think, Christine's point of just, any drill needs to be very clear and communicated to teachers and students that this is indeed a drill, not an active situation.
Governor Murphy actually signed that into law back in January, right? So that's actually what we have to communicate that now. And parents also have to know by the end of the school day that a drill took place for when their children are coming home.
And I read what the document said, so it's pretty thorough. Thank you.
Any other comments on whole business?
Maybe because it's old business now. I just want to commend Sia and his staff, particularly, I think, Mrs. Alonso, I think, Sam staff, your administrative assistant, I didn't count them all up, but we probably acted on about 70 or 80 resolutions tonight that go over a 40-page agenda. That's a big mouthful at the end of the school year to put all together in a comprehensive and understandable way. So I think
Thank you. Finally, Mr. Carball, I do want to acknowledge too, and officially now welcome Dr. Glenn, our new principal of Martha B. Day School. Welcome to Bloomingdale.
There are no other open comments for business. The public comments that I asked them, you can see, I think it make the agenda we receive a little bit smaller. He's agreed to do that. It'll look like this instead of the copy you have. It'll look like it.
I could produce it in the form of the minutes,
So if that's something you're
like the
interested in,
paper copy of the
you
form.
want the cliff notes first.
well,
I can give the quick
I'm
notes.
dating myself.
Yes.
yeah,
What's the difference in the online?
you're eliminating meeting category access,
Yeah.
meeting category access, meeting category access.
On the paper copy. Online, there'll be no difference.
Yeah, 70 times, so it might be a little bit easier for you to digest and look.
I did have a question in new business. I've been reading about how that, we have the free lunches available through the Department of Education. And I believe that it's been extended through the summer. I know we're not really, does that impact us in any way? And in the fall, is it just going to go back to how it was?
So for the past 2 summers, we have not served food over the summer. We're continuing in the same trend this year. We're not serving food. We do publish on our website for any student who needs that opportunity where the nearest, actually it went up today, where the nearest location they can go to get the free lunch is. In the fall, we just received information about that, I want to say 1-2 nights ago. So I do have to look into exactly what it's going to look like. I know it will look a little different. I did hear there was a very recent change, as of, like I said, 2 nights ago, that there could be not exactly how it was this past year, but somewhere in the middle compared to where it was in the past. I'll send out information to the board
I
on it.
believe maybe the legislature, New Jersey legislature might be trying to do something.
And I think they just acted, I was reading, so I have to read into it more. We haven't received anything from
Okay.
Department of Agriculture on it, yes.
New business? No? Okay, if there's no objection, I'd like to move into the second public comment. I'd like to ask for a motion to open second public comment, subject to the guidelines that we have in the agenda. Okay. Second?
Wilson.
Can I move this by voice? All those in favor?
I
Aye. You're open for public comment. Does anyone wish to come up and make a public comment?
Say thank you very much. I'm so excited to become part of the Bloomingdale family. And we are little ones in Martha B. Day, support the communities, most importantly, support our children, work with our teachers. And once I get going, I hope that you will come and join me at Martha B. Day any day that you want to come and visit. And welcome. I'm very excited. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Else for public comment? Seeing no one else, can I have a motion to close public comment? Okay. Are we ready for a motion to adjourn? Warren, Carol? All in favor? Aye. Well,
Have a nice summer.